Good evening, I'm Joe Vodvarka here with your weather update on the potential, well not potential, now it's becoming likely for a significant coastal storm starting tomorrow afternoon, going right into the weekend. Yes, it's going to be a wet weekend ahead. Let's dive right into this bad boy. First of all, we got a large area of cloud cover around here which is associated with the storm system. And if you look real closely, down here we have a comet shape that's starting to form. That would be part of the center of low pressure. The center is actually down here, but there's an upper level vortex right here that's spinning in the atmosphere that has created the comet shape. As you can see here, clouds are starting to spread north. We had a lot of high clouds during the day, starting around noontime, and that is still the case right now, but thicker cloud cover is starting to move in, and the banding within this storm is actually starting to move north a little bit in the Carolinas and Virginia. Let's take a look at radar. As you can see here, we have moderate to heavy banding forming offshore of the Carolinas that is starting to lift north a bit, and this will continue to do so overnight. So I would expect it's not going to necessarily be a sunny day tomorrow. There might be some dim sunshine early on, Philadelphia north and west, but south and east, no, it's going to be a cloudy start. And perhaps in Delaware, as early as noontime tomorrow, there might be some rain already starting. Okay, as we're looking at here at the Norfolk radar, as you can see here, banding is starting to increase as it's spreading northward into Virginia. It's not real heavy just yet. It's light to moderate, but it's definitely something we have to watch, and it will intensify overnight tonight. Let's take a look at the current loop of the HRR. It's the high resolution rapid refresh model. This is just a guideline. Do not take everything seriously as you see it, or exactly, as it is not a perfect model. It's just something to help simulate how radar may potentially look over the next 16 hours. So first of all, we see here the banding is lifting north by hour 5, which is 3 UTC, which would be about midnight. As we continue advancing north, as you can see here, the heavy banding starts to come on shore, and now it's really starting to force itself right up the Delaware and Chesapeake Bays. As you can see here, we're at hour 10. There it is. It's moving up the bay now. There's the Delaware Bay. Here comes the moderate rain up there. Yeah, it's already moving into South Jersey by early tomorrow morning, though I think this is a little aggressive with how fast it's going to move in. We might actually initially see it break up until the atmosphere moistens itself up. Then we would get into some solid banding, potentially for the evening commute. Now look here, we have some really heavy banding at the end of this run offshore. There's a lot of questions with the models as to where that would go. The current NAM model coming in right now takes that southwest again. GFS keeps it out to sea. The Euro brings it overhead. The RGEM model tries to bring it overhead. The Canadian brings it overhead. So the models are really all over the place, even though I just stated some agreement right there. It's not all necessarily good agreement because there's not some of the best of the models in the world there that I just described, particularly the NAM and the Canadian models. And yeah, at this point, the GFS, because I'm pretty confident this is not going out to sea like the 18C Global Forecasting System model would suggest. So moving along here, let's take a look at the winds real quickly on this model. That's something else I want to point out. These are sustained winds. The yellow represents 20 to 25 knot winds, which means roughly 23 to 27 miles per hour. The orange represents 25 to 30 knot winds, and higher, and so on. Look what happens here as we get into tomorrow. The orange start to come in. We're looking at potentially 28 to 33 mile per hour sustained winds. That's not including gusts. Gusts with this, I checked the gust map. Gusts would be reaching 35 miles per hour at the shore already. And this is with the low just starting to come up. So, given this is an onshore flow coming off the ocean, this would cause minor to potentially moderate coastal flooding. We're going with minor flooding for tomorrow night. Thursday into Friday is when there could be some moderate to potentially significant flooding. Right now I'm leaning towards moderate. But given the fact that the dunes are still pretty weak from Hurricane Sandy, this is something we're going to have to watch, because on top of this we're going to be having very heavy rainfall. Now let's go take a look at the European model. I will go back here. As you can see here, here's hour 48. This would be 8 a.m. Thursday morning. 8 a.m., 9 a.m.-ish. 12Z is 9 a.m. this time of year, excuse me. As you can see, we have a deformation band over the area. Basically, a deformation band, sometimes it can be a very small area or it can be a very wide area. In this case, it is a very large area of a deformation band. It's where you have your best energy, best vorticity, and especially 700 and 850 millibar vorticity in this area. And right here, we would probably have a strong area of vorticity right over I-95, where there'd be some moderate to heavy rain going on. Potentially right during the morning commute on Thursday. Advancing this run, as you can see, gets a little bit stronger just east of the city, down at the shore, where there's some pretty heavy stratiform rain going on with this deformation band that's now rotating to the west as far back as Harrisburg. Continuing to Thursday evening, we got a band over New York City. Still some moderate rain overhead here. We got another heavier band just north of State College. So I advanced again. Look at this. Another deformation band forms from Long Island to the western Catskills. Then it sinks back south over us. Then it weakens some, but still raining at a steady rate. And on Friday night, look at this. Another deformation, a third deformation band, potentially a comma shape on radar. Then it moves southwest and weakens some over our area. Anyhow, the general consensus is the Euro is a major hit. It actually keeps it going well into Saturday and even into parts of Sunday. But I think the heaviest of rain is going to fall between tomorrow and Saturday. After that, maybe some light to perhaps moderate rain on Sunday. Sunday's really a wild card at this point, how long it's going to last. And even Monday is a wild card. Sunday and Monday might end up being just misty days versus the heavy rain that we're going to see early on. Now let's take a look at the Euro totals here. And as you can see, we have some very impressive totals on the 12Z Euro here. This red area down here, that is 4 inches. There's another 4-inch area up here near New York City. Through 12Z Saturday, New York City gets roughly 3.5 inches of rain. Philadelphia gets just over 2.5 inches of rain. And at the shore, yeah, 3 to 5 inches of rain fall at the shore, which is very impressive with this system. And look at this, the cutoff goes all the way back to State College. That is a tremendous cutoff. So we're not just talking this localized event. We're talking a widespread area is going to see heavy rainfall. Now let's go take a look at the current 500 millibar map. And here we go. Here's the current vorticity, which just updated. You can see the vortex right now is where that comma head was on IR, right over North Carolina and South Carolina. There's the strongest vorticity axis right now over South Carolina. Now let's quickly take a look at the 700 millibar level. As you can see here, moisture is starting to organize in a band type formation from North Carolina to well out into the ocean east of our area. If I loop this, let's turn off the radar here because that makes it look crappy. So I loop this, you can see how it's starting to interact with more moisture off in the ocean, and it's starting to organize fairly nicely and move sort of a north-northwest movement here, although the interaction is in a northeast fashion. But eventually it is going to all rotate and pivot into the area tomorrow. So this 700 millibar moisture I do expect to be over the area tomorrow, and that's when banding will start to break out overhead. Now let's take a look at the current 0Z NAM, which is just coming in. So this is going to be new to me as it is new to you. As you can see here, it is handling current radar pretty well east of North Carolina. But look what's starting to happen here. It's starting to go west, and now it's starting to go southwest. It is bringing some heavy rain over Delaware and over the area. And now it's really starting to dive off to the west. And I don't necessarily agree with it getting back that far west. But it is something to watch. Every solution has to be taken into consideration, but I'm going to warn you now. The NAM model tends to be horrible with coastal storms. And it tends to be very erratical sometimes. Sometimes the solutions it has is not very well. This model is still in the process of coming in. It's only in the 51 hours out. But generally by 51 hours out, we should most likely be around 1 to 2 inches somewhere in between there. Let's take a look at the precipitation totals, 251 hours. And yeah, there we go. Pretty sharp cutoff on this model. Just look at just west of DC. That is roughly 3 to 4 inches just west of DC. This is just one model. There are many other models that we look at, and when you saw one of them was the Euro. Now we can take a look at the Canadian. Here's the 12Z Canadian model. As you can see here, there that would be right now down there. And then it starts to advance northward. And look at this. Very heavy rain, pounds in the shore, but it breaks up a little bit overhead. But we still get heavy rain too. It brings roughly 3 inches of rain through next Monday in the area. And the interesting aspect with this is it doesn't bring it all at once. It kind of breaks it up a little bit on Saturday, but watch what happens on Sunday. It redevelops the storm right over the top of the area. That's a wild card this time. And National Weather Service up in Upton, New York was actually mentioning this. They're actually saying it could go south and then come back north again and redevelop some. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm thinking the heaviest of the rain is going to be between tomorrow and Saturday, with it generally tapering off on Sunday to mist. But it's something we have to watch. It's a wild card. Every coastal system usually has wild cards, and that certainly will be the wild card of this system. Okay, so what to expect? Rain starting around midday tomorrow in Delaware, advancing northeast, starting sometime after the evening rush hour, anytime after 6 p.m. in the Philadelphia metro area. Rain will become light to moderate overnight, and then becoming steady in the AM hours with heavy banding anytime after 3 o'clock in the morning on Thursday morning, lingering between the entire day on Thursday, heavy at times. Then we come into deformation bands during the daytime. Heavy at times on Thursday night. Winds will start cranking up Thursday afternoon. Strongest of the winds will be at the shore, where they will gust up to 35 miles per hour and could become sustained to 25 to 30 miles per hour at times. Inland, we're looking at 20 to 25 mile per hour winds. There could be a few gusts that reach 30 miles per hour in heavier bands, but I really think the strongest of the winds are going to be at the shore. With these strong winds, we could see potential for moderate coastal flooding. I did read seas are expected to be 4 to 8 feet at the shore, which is pretty significant out in the middle of the ocean. For this time of year, I do believe Hurricane Sandy, seas reached 11 feet. We're not going anywhere near that. But 4 to 8 feet, that is moderate levels. Rain will continue into Friday. Rain will be steady on Friday. It could become heavy at times if another deformation band develops. It will last into Saturday. Saturday it will start to slowly wind down. It will be more moderate and then becoming lighter by the evening hours. And Sunday it's just going to be light rain. Rainfall amounts for Philadelphia metropolitan area, I'm thinking roughly about 3 inches of rain for the metro area. Localized areas could see higher amounts where heavy bands sit. North and west, I'm thinking roughly a general 2 inches of rain, perhaps 2.5 inches of rain as you come closer towards the city. Back towards State College, I'm thinking a general 1.5 inches of rain. And as for the shore, Delaware, and New York City, I'm going with 3 to 5 inches of rain, as this is where the heaviest banding will be. Generally, anywhere east of the New Jersey Turnpike is where 3 to 5 inches will fall. West of the New Jersey Turnpike is where the 3 inches will be. Wild card for this system will be, do we get in on the redevelopment Sunday night into Monday? That will be something we'll work on later on. I will have updates throughout the storm tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, with many more videos to come and mesoscale maps for deformation bands and heavy banding whatsoever. I'm Joe Vodvarka. Thank you for watching my update.